Welcome one, welcome all. My name is Arash Zandieh, and you are watching This Week in Pop Culture, the show that gives you everything that's pop culture that happened this week. With me always, you can catch him on Tuesdays with me with This Week in Toy Culture. And if you need to hook up at GameStop, don't bug him no more. I mean, look, if you got Funko Pops, maybe he'll hook you up. The lovely Michael Bergy.
What up,
Yeah,
Hash?
you
Yeah, a
got enough
little maybe.
stuff. Next one on our team, you can catch her every Wednesday, streaming on the Castillo Studios Twitch and Facebook page. With me on Wednesdays as well too is the lovable Sammy Castillo.
Hello.
And if you're on the L and you live in Brooklyn, you can catch this man right here with his podcast show. Last Stop on the L is Mr. Mayhem himself.
Like my black noir.
What are you insinuating, sir? Are you insinuating
Black
something
noir,
about Black
baby.
Noir?
We'll go into
Um,
this later.
Yes.
Do you have a tree nut allergy?
Do you have a special nut allergy? We'll be good at that.
I'm sure he does.
And last but not least, you can catch her on her very new show called The Tingling Tease that airs every Friday at 8 o'clock. The wonderful, the always Leslie Frye.
Hello, everyone.
I hope you all had an awesome week. I know playoffs are around, football. Some of you guys like basketball. Hockey's already over. You guys even watch sports? Yeah, see?
Sure.
Besides this one
We
person.
know I do.
Yeah,
I
you do. Anyway. Well, besides sports and everything, everyone knows that tonight, as we're on live right now, is the premiere episode of The Walking Dead. So I know a lot of you guys are very excited about that one. Walking Dead tonight will air and will be the return of Maggie. Actor Lauren Cohen was absent during season 9. But what does this mean? In a quick catch-up, Lauren finds letters written by Carol explaining the Whispers and Negan. Maggie is now on the journey to reunite with Carol and whatever survivors are around. While Maggie finally gets, will Maggie finally get her revenge once she sees Negan is still alive? Well, we'll have to see on the second season when it comes out, which is season 11. But once season 11 ends, we get to see Carol and Daryl head all the way west. Is this greener pastures? Who knows where this will lead? My feeling is some people may follow. We find a nice piece of land. We start a colony, be in an area where there's crops, farming, getting along. And then we get outsiders. So we have the repeat of what's happened with all of The Walking Dead. But do you guys actually see yourself following, Carol with what she started with season 1 and season 2? And since everyone is still in love with a skinny crossbow hunting Daryl, would you follow him all the way to the West Coast? Sammy, let's start with you, since you are the much bigger Walking Dead fan.
Oh yeah, totally.
Huge.
Oh,
Totally
huge.
Huge,
Like,
tremendous.
Huge.
Man,
Huge, tremendous.
yeah, right.
No.
No what? All right, Leslie.
Yes, I will follow them. I will. Unfortunately, I was assuming that they would be in another like New York or New Jersey or someplace like that. I don't know what they're going to find in New Mexico. Maybe lizards and cactus. I'm just like really annoyed by that. I am excited to see Lauren come back as Maggie to reprise her role as Maggie. She's a very beloved character from the original show, and I'm expecting that we're going to see a lot of that kind of reunion kind of stuff going on before the last season. But if there are, by the way, Walking Dead, and this is for Sam, Walking Dead ranked number 5 as far as what his viewership is going on right now with people watching on streaming. So it still has a fan base. There are still people who love it. There are still people that find the importance of zombies and an apocalyptic world. But I'm really excited to see the story arc. I'm really excited to see everything be tied up and wrapped up in a bow. So Yes, I will. I'm excited to see Maggie coming back. That's all I have to say. I'm excited.
Oh,
And you're just waiting for sweet
Oh, cool.
revenge
All right.
and everything happening, right?
I'm just waiting. This is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for them to come to New York and New Jersey. I know that
Never
there are
gonna
some
happen.
places. Wait a minute. There are some good spaces here in New Jersey that they could have, like they could film a zombie apocalypse. There have been several directors out there who have done so. So I mean, it's a lot of space out here, a lot of industry space, a lot of buildings, a lot of. It's just every time I drive on the highway, I say, "Ooh, that's a good place for a zombie movie."
All right.
There's, I mean, I'm just saying, come on, y'all.
All right.
Hear me, directors of Walking Dead, New York, New Jersey.
All
That's
right.
what I want to say.
Mayhem, since you love traffic in all of New York City, and would you follow Daryl with his crossbow all the way to the West Coast, or are you just planning on sleeping for the time being? You know that mic's never plugged in.
No.
Such a great prop from
You
though.
know what? Let me honestly say this. I would love to see how it wraps up, but the direction that they're going, it just seems like they want to keep us entertained. They want to just like, hey, don't count us out yet. We still got a whole bunch of bag of tricks, and we're all just like, I've seen you pull the rabbit out of the hat, but so many times. I agree with Les. New Jersey is barren. Oh my God, so much space. Oh my God, there's so much Jersey. Who goes to Jersey anyway? But it'd be a great place.
Zombies.
It would be great. No, she's right. It would be a great location to film. It'd probably be a lot cheaper. It'd probably be just a better production. But right now, I would wait until it ends to see how it ends, and then maybe go back and then see how they got there. But right now, my interest is so far.
All right. Mike, are you looking forward to the brand new season happening for Walking Dead, and just to see how these last two seasons are going to come to an end?
Kind of in a way, just because I want to see what they're going to finish up with the storylines. Like, how are they going to tie them all up? How are you going to, bring Maggie back in? What is she going to do with everything from like the hilltop? What happened with the original crew, and now she has to deal with Negan still alive, and he hasn't been killed by anybody because spoiler, he did kill her love interest. So I mean, I'm kind of interested in that to see what that's going to go. As far as maybe the new storyline, I'd have to see what ends up with the final season. How are they going to tie it all in? That's going to lead into the new season, and they're going to New Mexico. Can we just find Area 51? I just want to see zombie aliens. Like seriously, like, do that. Like that would be one heck of an episode. Like just give me that.
I like that.
Fine with that.
So
Like,
you guys are all looking. So you guys want like George Ramirez to rewrite something where they get to Area 51 and there's mutated zombies now all of a sudden?
Why not?
That
Well, maybe that's the progenitor of the zombie apocalypse. Maybe that's where it actually happened. It was something that came as an alien. They did say it was an alien virus. It came from outer space. So
even though there's a ton of Breaking Bad references and everything. What's up, Sammy?
I'm interested to see if they're going to do what the comic series did and just leave it as it happened, no explanation, or if they're actually going to try and explain what physically caused the whole thing. I'd be interested to see if that happens, but other than that,
They've mentioned it time and time again. It is a shoot. It no longer exists. The ending of the book that everyone read does not exist. And they are just now never referencing the comic book after this season.
Really?
So there was after the season, there is no mention of the books. And if the original creators do write something due to the fact that they have the title for The Walking Dead, they will throw in their 2 cents.
well, that's what they did during season 2.
Yeah.
With the farm, that whole farm, that's where I ended because it was super boring. The whole farm season isn't even in the comic. Like they briefly go to a farm for I think it's like for an issue or 2, and then they leave. It's not like they're there for a year or whatever. So, as illustrated sort of in the second season before they go to the prison.
Yeah, but I was gonna say one of the main characters was not even in the comic at all, like Daryl.
Daryl wasn't in the comic either. Yeah.
A throwaway guy that became popular.
Yeah, a guy that originally had no last name, then all of a sudden had a last name. Then he became fans' favorite, and then through all the years, they're going, if he dies, we riot. But
Yep.
who
He
knows?
wasn't
but
supposed
the
to
video
be-
games didn't have those characters either. If you've ever played any of the video games, they may bring in, I think that they did one for Michonne, and they may introduce some of the main characters from the show. They infused them into the video game, but those characters didn't exist. They were existed in the world, but they weren't actually something that was in the comic itself.
From what I've read, Daryl, like in the beginning, wasn't even supposed to make it out of Atlanta. He was supposed to be. He was supposed to die in the beginning of the second season, but he became such a fan favorite that they're like, all right, let's keep him in. And I have to applaud them because they are one of the few shows that actually started the whole idea of listening to the fan base and then carrying on with those sorts of things. So I personally don't like The Walking Dead. I'm not saying they didn't do good things, in the industry and, groundbreaking kind of things, but what?
You look.
You said you personally didn't like it.
I hate The Walking Dead. I think it's boring.
Well, I love the show. I love the show. And as someone who loves the show, I think that people are going, because it has such a long, people have a love letter to that show. They're going to follow it. They're going to follow Daryl and Carol. Those are two beloved characters that everybody is going to want to see what ends up with their storyline. And I think that they're only going to do 30 episodes for Daryl and Carol. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think that's what
they're doing.
Like
20
episodes.
25 episodes. The Frontier one's getting 30 episodes.
Okay. So for now, and that could actually, that could continue. But my point being is this, that there are fans out there, people who write fan fiction, that these writers and these creators are going to probably look at that fan fiction and say, hey, let's create a story around this. What we have to say, and I think we can all agree upon, is even though it did not follow the comic books, and most scripted stuff does not, at least it introduced people to the genre. It introduced people to the comics. And so that is, if it achieved anything, it achieved that.
Yeah, it popularized it, and made it sort of an everyday kind of thing. Like, I feel like it took zombie flicks out of the horror genre, where you're the goth kid with the death metal, look, sitting in your basement, wanting gore. And it pulled it out and sort of made it into a whole different type of genre on its own, a mix between a little bit of horror and then, post-apocalyptic kind of situation. So, I'm happy that it popularized zombies and all that fun stuff.
And not only that, though, it was also character driven. And I think that that's what was so unique about The Walking Dead, is that you were watching these people's lives. It wasn't, the zombies were just, added fringe. But what was going on is what was happening to the people and how they were experiencing this apocalypse. And that's what made people really want to know more about these people. How were they going to make it? What was going to happen? It was more centered around the world and the individuals that were still left in the world, and not the monsters. Because the monsters, honestly, were us. A lot of us were how we reacted in that scenario.
Well, we got to see more character development, because if we've seen all the the zombie genres when it came to Day of the Dead, everything dead related at the time was just like, all right, we get an hour and a half, 2 hour film with no character base, no driven plot, blah, blah, blah. The end, we get one survivor. This is a group of survivors that have went to the CDC, sacrificed people. We got to see loved ones. We've cried. I mean, look, every man in this whole entire room will say they cried when Daryl saw his brother, when they finally reunited. And then, you're shaking your head, you did it? That was the best scene ever. And every single person still brings it up.
There were a lot of crying moments in there. There were.
My brother, I'm very happy that you are in tune with your emotions. However, I cannot join you on this sad cry. I can't. I'm sorry. This wasn't it. Charlotte's Web, when Charlotte finally died at the end, yes. Mufasa, when he dies in Lion King, for sure. Denzel Washington and Man on Fire. Oh my God. Crocodile tears. This? You're on that hill alone, buddy. You're on your own.
There were a lot. I have to agree with you, Hash. There were a lot of deaths that really just that made me upset and made me cry. Glenn's death was very disturbing to me.
I was gonna say Glenn and Abraham's, I think, were the two that caught me a little bit off guard because of that and the way they went and the mannerism of it. I mean, I didn't cry, but it definitely like shocked me because I mean, we've seen people die in TV shows, whether it's a feature-length movie or a TV show or cartoon, animated, whatever, but not to that extent. That brutality that they did was mind-boggling. Like it's stuff you only read about or you see in a comic book or something. Insane.
What about that? What about the young man? The little boy, the kid that played Everybody Hates Chris. What character was he? I forgot his name when he died in the revolving doors.
I think his name was Chris too on the show.
His name was Chris in the show too.
Oh,
that was
Chris.
That was the fun. That was the fun part.
Funny part about it, yeah.
I got to talk to one of the editors at San Diego Comic-Con when he was buying art, and he told for Walking Dead, and he told me that Glenn was the Asian dude, right? That died?
Yeah.
Okay. So he told me that they filmed every lead character getting killed. And then it was up to, so even the actors didn't know who was going to die. And it was up to the lead editor and then the director who was actually going to die in that episode. And it just happened to be Glenn. So even the actors didn't know until it actually aired on television.
And Abraham as well too. So
actually, that's false. They did know about it ahead of time because Michael Cudlitz was at one of the conventions that I run, and I was talking to him and I saw him, and I said to him, I was like, the next show I saw him was after the death of him and Glenn, and I told him, I was like, hey, so you look kind of angry and kind of bummed out at the last show I saw. I guess I found out why is because you knew your character was dying. He goes, oh, we knew about that script 18 months ago. We already knew. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we had to show up on set, still be there, act like we're a part of it. They flew us in, put us up, did everything till the show aired, till the episode aired, and then it was on. I was like, oh man. He's like, yeah, just something. I was like,
see, that's how ferocious the fans are because they had to make sure that he came to set every day so that the fans would not speculate that he was possibly going to die.
Yeah. Anyway, here's to something else that's literally dying due to COVID. But I don't know if it's dead of COVID. Did anyone? I mean, the year is 2006. Well, sort of. You just joined Facebook. Well, if you were able to join Facebook beyond your college ID, if you were one of us, and the only thing to do game-wise was to play Farmville, and you built your kingdom of a farm, whatever the heck it was. I mean, look, they even had castles and everything in the game. Yeah. Now Farmville is coming to an end. On December 31st, 2020, yes, the Flash-based video game that was able to be played on Facebook is coming to an end. Did you play Farmville? And was this what was your greatest memories of playing the game? Sammy, did you play Farmville when you joined Facebook, just like the billions and billions of others?
I think I did, actually. I think I did. That must have been like early 2010, like 2009, 2010 when that was a thing. I didn't even know it was still going on, to be honest with you. But they're just getting rid of it through Facebook because Adobe is no longer supporting Flash. And so Facebook obviously won't be able to update it, but you can still get it on your phones and stuff like that, I believe. But I haven't touched it in like over a decade. So,
Leslie, were you one of the few that when you joined Facebook, the first game you played was Farmville, and we had to send those requests and help us farm? Did you help us farm back then?
I did not play that game. I did not. And incidentally, I do recall that there's going to be a Farmville 2 and 3. So perhaps they're just doing this because Adobe is no longer going to support it, but they're going to figure something out because they still have, despite the fact that it lost, a fan base or, it's diminishing, they're going to figure out a way to regain that fan base. There are some people that are still playing it, but no, I never played that game. I never played it.
Mayhem, were you one of the few that did play Farmville?
So I played Farmville. I played I want to say maybe a round or two of it. And then I was like, all right, I'm done with it. I didn't want to play that. They were like, oh, you can play Chefville, which was, I think, a spinoff of Farmville, but it's like, playing in the kitchen, if you will, cooking. I didn't join Facebook until like maybe 2006, 2007. Because 2004 I graduated high school. Wow. And they didn't recognize City Tech at
That's
the
how much
time.
older I am than you.
It's
I
not about you.
was already a graduated college at that point.
See, no. I was on Cafe World. Cafe World was my thing. If you guys remember Cafe World, it's like you build your own kitchen, you had your own stoves or whatever. That was my thing. But I understand what Farmville's going through, because a lot of people played that game. A lot of people Candy Crush, years later. And the thing was about networking. You'd meet so many people. Like, I have so many people on my Facebook friends list that I met from like Cafe World or whatever game that I was playing. And you don't really know them, but you help them out. And it's kind of like a community. It's like a small gaming community. So, goodbye, but wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's been around for such a long time. I mean, how many friends did you end? I remember having like 20, 30 friends just for Farmville alone, because they kept saying add new friends. I'm like, but half my friends do already play Farmville, so
Try to get you to add more friends, and then you constantly like remember poking in Facebook? So like
yes.
it was like poking them. That notification kept coming up to like you share it, like they'd be like, oh, we give you 100 corn, whatever, if you join or whatever. So it became like this annoying message, annoying notification.
It was either that or pay for it, right? You
Right,
would
yeah,
get your
then you have to
friends
pay
number
for
or
it.
you pay for
Yeah.
it.
So Farmville was one of the first Facebook games where it allowed you to physically pay money to actually upgrade your farm faster, and it was also one of the first games that had a casino style roulette when it came to certain boxes, basically creating a giant addiction for the game,
Yeah.
which made it very addicting. I remember at one point, there was news articles where parents' credit cards were used by their kids, and tens of thousands of dollars were being wasted on Farmville, and
Once again,
Farmville had to go and return like the money back. You go ahead.
so once again, like I'm not blaming the company for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Their job is to keep you entertained as much as possible. You know, Call of Duty is a very popular game right now. I'm pretty sure we've all seen the ads for the new maps and a new person who looks to be of either practicing Muslim or Islamic. I don't know exactly what she is,
She's
but
one of the
everybody,
characters
Wait,
from the
she's one of the
storyline.
characters. Yes,
right.
she's a character.
I was just trying to get her origin,
And
but I haven't fully.
she is bad. She's
She
fire.
is.
Terrible.
She is. So that already kind of sums up my point. Their job is to keep their community engrossed in their game and their product, and also get more people as well through you, whatever. So I don't blame them. I blame the parents for not being parents and responsible, and not to say leaving your credit or debit card around your kids and figuring, well, they're just a kid. They could play a game on the internet. They can't figure out how to possibly put in numbers and read and make common sense decisions. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Like, the one time I'll back Florida up. Florida has a law which says that if you have a firearm and your child gets hold of the firearm and hurts somebody, you're going to jail for it. Makes sense? You're responsible. So like with the Farmville, like I don't get it. I don't get with that article. I'm going off on the article and I'll stop, but I don't get it why it had to be publicized, because it's your job as a parent to be a parent and be responsible. I'm done.
Bergy, were you
Get
a
that
Farmviller? Bergy, were you a
Sorry.
Farmviller and everything back in the day? And how many hours a day did you play?
Tragically, yes, I did play Farmville back in the day. I had a bunch of friends that did it, and we all would, share the responses, come to the friends, farm it and stuff like that, because we didn't want to spend the money for it. So if you didn't want to spend money, you basically helped out your friends, and that helped you build your farm and level up your character as well. I also played a game like it was like Mafia, was very similar.
Yes.
You can move up the ranks of the Mafia, and do all of that. So I played that game as well. I played a couple of stupid little ones on Facebook. I actually thought all those games went away.
Yeah.
I had no idea they were still going. So I had no clue. So when I saw that, and I was like, wow, Farmville is still a thing. Like, I've seen it as an app that pops up, like when you're playing like, Angry Birds or Candy Crush or something, you see that little 30-second clip that advertises another game. And you see that and you're like, hey, join us for Farmville. They're like that. Or it's like, do the Diner Dash one or something. So I was like, this is actually still a thing? Okay, sure. Why not? So I was kind of surprised by it. But, I mean, I'm not surprised to see it going. But I think they are sticking around. I think they are doing, like Sammy said, it was like Farmville Part 2, or Farmville 2. It's an app now you can download on your iDevices, stuff like that. So
we're saying, so you're gonna update, so you're gonna upgrade and download it on your phone as of tomorrow.
No.
I think the problem with them is like some of these apps are also taking personal information, and people were highly against that. Your personal information, who you're in contact with, and their personal information. Newsflash, they're still doing it. So if you read the terms and conditions, it's there. As well as it's not just them; it's who they're partnered with. But I remember a lot of these apps because take you back. Remember when Facebook used to have notes and big groups everybody used to be a part of?
Mm-hmm.
They were watching us, man. So all that died down. It's still an app, but it's like in the background. You probably have a notification for it somewhere, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, Farmville was also one of the first ones to have the in-game purchase. I think Sebastian briefly mentioned something about it before, but it was one of the first ones where you could pay for the add-ons and pay for the coins and stuff like that. They're one of the first ones that successfully did that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember people going crazy on that on Facebook, would spend a lot of money and stuff. And I worked at Best Buy at the time when that app was starting to really take off on Facebook. People would come in and buy Facebook gift cards. And then they would go home and they would buy them for like $50 to $100 and go home and have Farmville cards. And people would crazy and then go home and load it up and play it. I used to see this one older lady. She would come in like once a week and buy like $100 minimum. Every like Friday we saw her. Every Friday she was in there.
Anyway,
security.
Well, if you need to stop playing Farmville and need to get out of the house, well, we got just the thing for you too, because LA Comic-Con is adding to the list of shows that are going to be happening this year, supposedly. We watched 2 shows in the Midwest. Florida had a Comic-Con as well too, and we all see the small, minor ones, but they want to get into the major leagues, we'll say. Still looking for a Comic-Con for this year with more and more shows canceling and rescheduling. It looks like the Los Angeles Comic-Con wants to be added to the list of major conventions that were able to happen in 2020. But the LA Comic-Con will only allow 12,000 people in their December 11th to 13th event. Even if the Los Angeles Comic-Con created physical distancing and space things out and have the proper cleaning assessment, it all comes down to the Los Angeles County Health Department to cancel their plans. But if you are interested for this December 13th to the 13th event, tickets are on sale now. Artists and vendors, please apply. Will you be attending and vending at this year's event, Sammy?
It's no, because it's in LA. But it's interesting because I was looking more into it, and they are limiting it to 2 5-hour sessions a day. And then they're limiting tickets to 12,000 individual tickets per session. So that's only 24,000 people, which is like 1/5 of what it normally is. They also said, on further research, it also said that they're going to be doing a cleaning before the con opens, between the sessions, and then after the con closes. So my question is, as a vendor, where do you go between the sessions? Like, how long is that session going to be? Because if it's 2 5-hour sessions, how are they going to sanitize 1.2 million square feet, according to the convention center, in like an hour or so? Like, I don't really understand the logistics of it. So it makes me pretty leery that it's even going to get approved by, the county and fire marshals, because it just seems at face value, it seems like a good idea, but I don't know how they're gonna do it, but we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Leslie, if you had the chance to go to LA Comic-Con to get some interviews, would you take the chance to go to LA?
Not in this COVID world. No, thank you. I'm not. I don't understand how they're going to be able to do this. I mean, I understand that everybody wants to get to it. I just think it's poor timing to do it right now. And with this virus possibly having a resurgence in the wintertime, I just don't think it's a good idea. The idea of having a con in LA, that's fine. Everybody's going to get on the bandwagon. I think that, everybody does. And they're going to have to compete with the San Diego con, but I just don't know how they're going to make it COVID friendly. Are they going to be giving temperature checks outside? They're going to be wiping down everything. And then how are you going to really make people social distance? The whole idea of having a con is the socialization part. People like to socialize. People like to go to the vendors. Are they going to have in front of the vendors a plastic screen? Like they do, like right now when you go and you pick up your McDonald's, there's a big old plastic street spring thing right there. I just don't see it happening. And from what I understand, I don't think that they've actually asked the city of LA if they can have this con. I think there's some back and forth about if they were given the go ahead to do so. So I just don't see it happening. I maybe after COVID is over, yes, but not right now.
All right, so we'll see what happens on the next coming one. Mayhem, would you take the trip? Would you take the flight?
Of course not. I'm already wearing a mask on the show. Like, for what? I go to the gym, and literally in the gym, it's like maybe like 4 to 5 hours after opening, they shut down the gym and they clean all the machines. They clean everything, and then they reopen the gym. And I say all that to say this: like, how are they going to handle being clean at a con? You know what I'm saying? As clean as possible without spreading or an outbreak happening. And then on top of that, like the only way I think they would be able to handle something like that is to buy a bigger venue, like a really massive venue. They're not doing that. They're not spending that money. And they're not going to get all the people to come through. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why they don't want to wait, but whatever. I'm not going. I'm gonna see Bergy there, but I'm not going.
Bergy, you do shows hand and foot pretty much and everything. With this year alone, is there even a shot, or are we just adding to, like, we're gonna try this because we saw Florida do it, we saw was it Memphis, Louisiana? We saw Louisiana do it, Memphis, one of the two places. We saw them do it this year, and then we do see the smaller shows, and I'll answer Ben in a second of a show that happened just on Saturday where they were all outdoors. But yet again, we're talking about indoor spacing. You see anything of this? Like the constant cleaning, the washing of everything, having a 5-hour show. Is it really worth it?
I mean, from everything I've seen about this and being in the industry and doing, shows and, being a promoter and everything, they ended up taking a venue that was 600,000 square feet that they had. They turned it to 1.2 million. So you basically took something, you spread out everything. So now you are trying to clean $1.2 million, 1.2 million square feet. How are you cleaning that in an hour? So
right.
From they're doing 2 sessions. It's 9 to 2 and then 3 to 8. So from 2 to 3, you're going to be able to go in there and clean 1.2 million square feet of space. What are you doing for the vendors? What are you doing for the artists? How are you cleaning their product? Because you can't touch their products. Now you're going to put cleaning materials on there. I just think that's, I don't know, like going into flu season and possibly a second round, maybe another closing, something. LA and those areas are being very stringent on what they're allowing for major events. If you look at sporting events, there's no one in the stadiums. They're not doing anything. The Dodgers are not having anybody in there. The LA Rams didn't have anybody down there. The San Diego Chargers don't have anybody. So how are you going to be able to have this with everyone still be there? Now you have 12,000 people, and according to it, they're saying per session. So that's 12,000 people, multiple entrances, but where are you putting everybody that's sitting outside waiting in line? 12,000 people, that's a big, holding corral area that you have to have for everybody to sit. And then you got to get 12,000 people out of the convention.
Right.
Now it's 12,000. Is that total for including vendors, artists, people that work in the venue, the cleaners, stuff like that? Then you got to think of the celebrities, the agents, the handlers. It's going to be very difficult to do for everything. And then the cost of what they're charging, it's $72 for a ticket for a 5-hour session. That's a little astronomical, set over 1.2 million square feet. How are you getting the full usage of that? And then if you look at the VIP spots, they have 2. It is basically $200, and you get to choose. I think it's like 3 sessions, and then the VIP for $400. There's another 3 sessions, but you get like 30 minutes early activity in the morning, not for the afternoon sessions. Then you get to pick celebrities. Now, anybody who's been at a convention, myself, Hash, I know Sammy's been at some conventions. I mean, it's done quite a bit. Leslie and Mayhem. When have you ever seen a celebrity there first thing in the morning at like 9 o'clock for VIP? You're going to get them there at 10 o'clock. So now you're going to tell a celebrity that has to be there now at 9 or 8:30 because we have VIP access. It's going to be very difficult to do. And then what about like you're in there, your session's in there, you're in line. Sorry, your 5-hour timeline's up. Now you got to leave, but I didn't get a chance to get an autograph from that celebrity or my photo op. It's going to be very difficult to do. I get it. You're going to wear masks. They're going to try to make the best of it to make it as clean situation and to be safe. I just don't see this happening. And if it does, I think it's a poor situation because of the climate of California right now. They're still not to full capacity to, venues, restaurants, buildings, businesses. I just don't see this going well. I can't see how they're going to afford this unless the city of LA is allowing it. And I cannot see them allowing this, where I think they're doing this as a publicity to try to drum up something. And then it's basically going to get shut down anyways. So that's just my opinion.
But we've always seen, because if some of us, I mean, I've been to the LA Comic Con once or twice, and they normally happen at the end of October. Now, the LA Comic Con, which used to be called Comic-Case, which is also renamed by the Stan Lee Comic Con, now being called the LA Comic Con, always has their show at the end of October. Do you guys, as Michael says, do you see this as a publicity stunt? Because their shows are normally Halloween weekend. And to not have a show on Halloween weekend, is this their new push to have it for December? Or are we just, we're just going to scramble it and the LA Health Department is just going to go, sorry, we're going to close you down? Sammy?
I think they're going to be, they're doing it as a publicity to get money in the door. Because what's going to happen is, according to my research, LA County has not even approved them holding a convention. And where they want to have it is in a orange zone or whatever zone they want to, whatever's a bad zone over there. And so their guidelines haven't even been approved by the county, nor has the county approved them even having it. So I think it's one of those things where they're trying to bring in some money, and then they'll either refund a very small amount of tickets if it gets canceled, or people will just allow it to roll over, and that's money in their pocket that they can continue moving forward. So I think them saying, going forward with it, like, yeah, we're all good, this is what we plan on doing, is just to encourage people to pre-purchase tickets. So that way they can have money in hand so that they can continue moving forward with things, regardless of if it's being planned, if they are actually going to have it this year or not, because they still have people to pay. They're not a nonprofit. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's a money grab personally.
But Sammy,
but they have to get that money back, though, right? If it is canceled, they have to get it back.
Well, you get a choice. According to the website, if it's canceled, you can either have the ticket roll over to a future event, or you can get a refund. And 99% of the time, people are like, don't worry about it. Just whatever.
Yeah. They're going to already have their ticket available because it's very hard to get a ticket anyway for any of those big cons. So they're going to keep that ticket.
Exactly.
Bergy, you were saying something,
Yeah, I was going to say, but as obviously Sammy's an artist that's going to purchase space at a show. Would you be willing to purchase, a flight from Florida to there? It's probably going to be cheap, probably $300-400. Then you got to look at a hotel. Now you're traveling on that. You got to bring all your stuff. And sorry, the show is canceled. What if none of that stuff is non-refundable, like the hotel and airfare? I think that's where it's going to be, a little bit worse. So I just think I just can't see this going on. I think it's bad.
All right. You guys all think it's a bad idea, but some people think it's a good idea. But we all know half the cosplayers in LA are getting ready for a December convention. Mayhem, you look like you're kind of excited. Do you see some cosplayers? Are you excited for some cosplayers? Is that what's up?
I would love. You know what? I think this would be a great thing because cosplayers are already wearing masks. I would say 50%, half the time, right? Because there's
Mhm.
cosplayers who do makeup but they don't wear masks, right? But if we can center on people dressing up, people who already dress up will be more pushed into the social media. It'll be more of an accepted thing. It's not just you're into anime, you're into like geeky stuff. Like, oh, this is dope. So like if we could kind of form a social distancing kind of deal, the cosplayers, yes. But at the same time, we have to be responsible because not all cosplayers are wearing a mask either. And what are you gonna do for that? And like if somebody comes dressed as Freddy Krueger, you're gonna put Freddy Krueger with a mask with something like this on, that throws off the cosplay. Why did they do all this for? You know what I'm saying? And remember, or even or they could be imitating a star. Like somebody could be impersonating Hash right now. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have Hash like this. It doesn't necessarily work. I. Mm, I would love to see it, but I think digital cons are the way to go until we fully get rid of COVID. 400%.
50-50 still on digital cons because literally no
Yep.
one's even watching those things either. I mean, look, I see shows where there's like 10 people on a stream and they only got 100 people still watching them, or stuff that's going on for 6 hours and you got 50 people watching them. But anyway, who knows? I mean, look, to each their own when it comes to doing shows. Shameless self promotion. But here's something I'm actually excited for, because some of us got to see Legend of Zelda in concert. Someone's got to see Halo in concert with a full orchestra. Would you guys like to see Rocky or Legally Blonde with a full orchestra playing the movie in the background? Uh, you scratch your head, no Mayhem, but two of the most iconic brands in MGM library is getting a live musical roadshow in 2021, beginning in July. MGM and TCG Entertainment have announced that Rocky in concert and Legally Blonde in concert will be making their way around the country, coming to a city near you, pretty much. Who doesn't want to see their favorite songs with a live action orchestra played in sync to a film? To me, I'd rather, I'd like to hear Eye of the Tiger with a nice orchestra for once. But my question is, who bought the soundtrack to Legally Blonde to make it one of their top soundtracks? Pardon me for anyone who did buy it, but but in this case, why haven't we seen Empire Records version of this as well too? Since that was the most popular soundtrack of the '90s, we'll say. But I'm not the person. Anything, Sammy? Did you buy Legally Blonde the soundtrack, and are you looking forward to?
Do I look like a person that would buy the Legally Blonde soundtrack?
I'm saying signs point to yes, pretty much. But you go ahead.
Absolutely not. I don't even know if I think I saw Legally Blonde once. But my thing is these are the two weirdest movies to start this with. I mean, they are not known for their music at all. So why? Like, okay, there's one overture of Rocky, fine. But why not start with like something of an epic, that's known for its music? But Rocky and Legally Blonde, like it confuses me, and so I wonder if it's one of these situations where the licensing of the music was so cheap for these two that that's what they could afford to start this whole thing. I think it's cool that they're doing it. I would love to, and I have, I have participated when they did, Final Fantasy, and they did all of the Final Fantasy orchestral music. I've been to that. I didn't get to see Halo, but I believe they've done it with Star Wars with John Williams. And I think somebody said Harry Potter. So I just don't understand why these two. They're not known for their music. Like, I don't even know who the composer of either of those films were. Get me a Danny Elfman film, or John Williams, or I just can't see it. I think it's going to flop because of it personally, like because of the films they chose. I think a cool idea is going to get poorly executed and people aren't going to be receptive to it.
So pretty much we'll go to Leslie pretty much. So you're not looking forward to a upbeated version of Black Eyed Peas that apparently was on the soundtrack for Legally Blonde, or some epic pop song that no one's ever heard of with a full Fred orchestra. But I mean, could you see? I mean, look, we've all watched Rocky. We can
Mhm.
picture some of it a little bit, right, Leslie? The face right there, right there.
I think that says it all. That says it all right there.
Did they poll people for what they would want to see in a I mean, I agree with Sammy. It has to be some kind of an epic film, like maybe a superhero movie. What about Superman or something like that, or The Color Purple? Beautiful music. It's just, why these two films? Why these two films? And they're so vastly different. They're not even within the same vein. I mean, granted, I loved both of the films, but I would never sit in concert and watch one of these films and actually watch the film over again with the live sound, with the live orchestra behind them. It's so strange to me. It's so strange to me why they chose those two films. And so it's a no for me. I could go, if I wanted to see Legally Blonde, I'd go to the theaters to go see it on Broadway.
Right.
You know? And Rocky actually had a run on Broadway for a minute too. I'd go see it there. But no, not an orchestra behind it.
So
what about
maybe that's it. Maybe because of the fact that they were once on Broadway, they had some sort of a push. They were once one was nominated. Legally Blonde was nominated for one of the Tony Awards.
Did it ever travel?
I
don't even know.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. You're denying. Yeah, the movie. It's not the Broadway show that's touring. It's the movie that's touring with orchestra.
But
so that doesn't make sense to me. It just it's not appealing. And those two movies are not appealing. If it was something else much more epic, I would go see it, but not that.
But you know who did buy Legally Blonde? No, I'm kidding. Mayhem. You know, what do you think about all this? I see Mayhem's got the plaque saying, like, you know, I own it, and there's like that nice little square space right there.
No, I was actually listening to everybody, and just when I originally came across this wonderful idea somebody had, it's like I kind of agree with Sammy. It's got to be something with the licensing and music, like this is all that we could get, or I think that the music companies, the production companies, are just like, this is another way we can make money off of it, platform, and making money from the streams and whatnot. Because Rocky, I think, had a budget of like $960,000. Let's say $1 million. Let's just say $1 million, and to this date, it's made like $225 million. You understand? Legally Blonde made like $123 million more. You know what I'm saying? So like Leslie said, these are two starkly different movies. Sure, people like it, but as a musical, like, is somebody gonna speak like Rocky but sing like Rocky? Hey yo, Adrian! Like, how does that work? Like, how does that work?
Look, so I guess you didn't see Rocky the musical. So since you didn't see Rocky the musical, we got someone who's got the semi accent. Yo, Bergy, what you think about all this? Yo?
I see how it is. Yeah. I'm not from New York, but I got the accent. I get it. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I know a guy. All right?
You know a guy.
I personally, these movies are just, I'm sorry, no. Why? Like, I get it. Rocky's great. The movie was fantastic. What it did back in 1976, and, you know, went on to produce, you know, 6 Rocky movies, 2 Creeds, and they're working on a 3rd Creed. But to do that into a movie, like, no. I've seen Star Wars in concert at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, and it was actually really cool. They have a full orchestra. Anthony Daniels is basically the maestro of it, and they did some of the key music to some of the key scenes in the actual, you know, movies. And they did it through all the first, at the time, it was the first 6 movies. That was really cool. I've seen Harry Potter. Harry Potter being done with the music and the instruments in the background and watching the movie. But if I had to spend $60, because you know it's going to be in like a theater, to sit there and watch Rocky with some orchestra music, no. And why would I watch that? Like, give me something with some good music. Like, how about Purple Rain? Like, that soundtrack was amazing. You do something like that, but you're not going to get that because of the rights to the music. But these are just, I'm sorry, not good movies at all. There's so much better stuff that they could do that could be done into movies. for this stuff.
All right, so we'll pay. I don't know. We pick 3 or 4 movies, or we'll just like a different version. Let's say Michael Jackson. We'll just see Michael Jackson's best of his material with a full-on orchestra, with the music video playing in the background as a live orchestra set, pretty much.
I can see
Yes.
that.
I don't hear
Yes.
Mayhem at all. I don't hear Mayhem. What'd you say?
That's called a concert, man. Like, like this is about movies turned into a musical Broadway show.
Moonwalker was. We had Moonwalker.
Moonwalker was the original visual art. I can't think of anybody beforehand, and maybe because I'm young and you guys can correct me, but Moonwalker was literally, here's a music video for all my popular songs and some that was popular overseas, put them together and make one long movie with make whatever that story was, and then boom, that was it. I played the game. I still doesn't understand why he turns into a robot. Why does he turn into a transformer? Somebody tell me.
The thing
He's done it. It's called a concert. You're not gonna have it happen. His estate won't let it happen, even though they probably need the money. Let's try somebody else.
I'm with Jabo. He says, "What about Batman?" So Jabo said Batman. I mean, look,
Yes.
granted, Michael Kamen was the original composer for majority of the Batman movies. Sadly, he's no longer with us, and the last project that he did do was Metallica's S&M. So, would be great to see a new version of the Batman scores redone with the movies and certain scenes. I will agree for a Batman film. What do you guys think would be an amazing score to do?
Mission Impossible. All the Mission Impossibles, because if they can make their
Why?
own,
Because we're gonna hear dun, 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 dun,
okay, that's to start us off.
But
For 2 hours.
I would say any James Bond movie.
I was gonna say the same exact thing. James Bond. I will agree on that one. Give me a nice, good James Bond score. We've had multiple, what is it? Academy Award winning and Grammy Award winning music from Adele to Chris Cornell and so many other musicians that I would like to see a orchestra version. Yes, I'll agree with Leslie.
Indiana Jones.
Okay,
Yep.
Indiana Jones.
One I would say that you could do, which I think would actually be pretty cool, be about maybe 2.5 hours. You do all the best scenes from all the first phase of Marvel, all the movies, all the fight scenes. Add that with instrumental. Put it over there for like the 22 movies. Add the key scenes. Everything that leads each character to being part of the Avengers that ends in the last movie. I think that would be an awesome thing. And then I want Lewis there as the MC that tells it all. You know, the guy from Ant-Man?
Yes.
Come on. Tell me that would not be the best guy to do that.
J-Bo wins. I mean, J-Bo and Batman wins and Bergy wins. I'm sorry. You guys got it. I can't.
Like, I would pay for that. I'd pay to go see that in the theater. Not in the theater, but the, you know?
All right, so we're gonna
that idea.
During our next show, we're gonna spend at least 6 hours writing a proposal to Marvel to see if we can get the orchestra version of this out, and then have something happen where we're miking, I guess, the orchestra version of Marvel with every single intro of every superhero coming in. And I guess we'll have to do a nice little tribute as well too. Fans are pouring in saying, "Look, I think Alicia Keys and Jack White for a James Bond movie song." I'm 50-50 on that one. Ben says Power Rangers music. I mean, I guess
only one song we care about. Mighty Morphin. Mission Impossible gives us more, at least 2 songs. Mighty Morphin is the only thing. But whatever.
How about The Last Samurai?
All right, The Last Samurai. I think Ben wants to see the Go Green Ranger in full orchestra. That's probably why, or the White Ranger song over again.
You can't even call Go Green Ranger a full song. It's just the same thing repeated. There's no lyrics.
You gonna sing it for us? You gonna sing it for us real quick?
No, no way.
Come on.
And a Rocky Balboa. And a Rocky Go Green. Hey, Green Ranger. Hey,
oh, Green Ranger.
Hey, yo.
Green Ranger.
That's the thing. Jurassic Park the musical.
Hey,
yes.
He gets all the Power Rangers in the Megazord and kicks the butt on the
like
ground.
all of my Italian family right there.
Right.
Hey, oh, Green Ranger. Hey, hey.
Hey, Sebastian has a suggestion of having Jurassic Park score. We've seen that a few times. Michael Pittman and Michael Pina narrating them all pretty much. Jason saying like to see Blazing Saddles. Okay, that'd be
Okay.
interesting.
That'd be
Blazing
funny.
Saddles, yes.
And J-Bo says Last Samurai, pretty much.
You know what would be interesting is if, I mean, I don't know how they would be able to get the rights to any of this, but instead of like doing a specific film with clips of a specific film, if they did like an homage to the great composers, you know, and took snippets of each of their, you know, their epic films and then kind of made one giant concert out of it. Because just think of the amount of films John Williams has composed. And like 99% of them we know by heart. Even though we don't realize we know it by heart, we hear that overture, we're like, oh, that's Jurassic Park, that's Close Encounters, that's E.T., that's Indiana Jones, that's this Indiana Jones. So if they did something more along the lines of where they show like scenes from the film with the overture, you know, that would be amazing. Like I would pay lots of money to see that.
So to answer your question, that already happens, and it's during the Grammys. During the hours or during the times that it's not televised, the
Of
orchestra is playing, and they're playing the E.T. score, the Jurassic
The
Park
stuff that I
score,
actually want
and
to
things
see.
like that right in the
Oh, like
background where we don't get to see. So yes, as sadly enough as Sammy's right, I like to
A
see that
Danny
one.
Elfman concert.
Danny Elfman, yep.
Well,
Hmm.
if we're not getting that one, hold on, did I miss an article? Yeah, I did. Anyway, so I know you guys are all fully into all the pumpkin spice endeavors and everything, right? I know Leslie's got to get her pumpkin spice something up. I mean,
We know
wait,
Mayhem's a basic B.
right?
You know it.
Mayhem is always getting his pumpkin spice everything, but Carvel's jumped into the bandwagon, but not just pumpkin spice, but they got a Hocus Pocus milkshake. Well, it's that time, I guess. You know, pumpkin spice everything's in full force. Completely in full force because I can't stop drinking the Boston, you know, pumpkin spice something. But what if you're not in spice thing stuff like before? Well, Carvel Ice Creams just released their seasonal milkshake called Hocus Pocus. The shake features vanilla soft serve ice cream with Oreo cookie pieces, whipped cream, and topped with sprinkles. Choice of sprinkles is up to you. The shake will end on November 1st. I don't know about you guys, but I can use a milkshake right after this session.
But forget all that. What I
What?
want to know is what's everybody's pleasure food? Something they shouldn't have no business eating, and it's full of sugar and whatever else makes it bad. Because over here, when I heard that, I was like, forget the milkshake. Let me have either
This
chocolate
is
ice,
nothing, but this is baby stuff, though. If you look at
Yeah.
if you look at what they're serving, it's just
chocolate
regular
ice
soft serve
cream,
ice cream.
or cookies and cream, or great nut ice cream, which is from Taste of Tropics, and give me some Louisiana crunch cake, and put those things together. Oh, oh my god! Oh my
Have
god!
you dipping into Ben and
Oh,
Jerry's too much? Is that what's going on? Is Ben and Jerry's just like, you know, that's probably one
every
of their
week,
dishes called the Mayhem.
every week we talk about pleasure foods that aren't necessarily good for us, like that pumpkin spice. I mean, we can just have regular tea, green tea.
Right,
Calm
but
and
you
just
don't want
meditate.
chocula, the Frankenberries, and
Damn,
you
that was
know,
just sugar. That was just sugar in a bowl. Like we literally had what was the one Oreo cereal,
yes,
candy cereal. Are you what? And then they
guys.
try to make Pop Tarts part of a balanced breakfast. Really?
Cinnamon
Really?
Toast Crunch.
Well, it's sadly enough that Jabo doesn't have a Carvel near him, so go to the mall. I think there's a Carvel in a mall or something nearby. Go to
Hey.
Carvel.
But
Hey,
if
you
you
guys,
actually
what-
thinking about it, this is basically what they call for McDonald's called the McFlurry.
Yeah.
Really? This
This
is
is
exactly what it is. It's a McFlurry. It's a milkshake you could get at any place. The only thing you're getting cool out of this is a cup. That
Is the
says
name too Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus on a cup. Literally, there's no difference from this from the local burger joint, your local diner, McDonald's. If their flurry machine's working, then yes, you can get a McFlurry, which is basically, you know, the Hocus Pocus ice cream. I mean, it's chocolate chip Oreos with ice cream, whipped cream. You could do this at home. Like, why are you going to spend $5? You want a cup that says Hocus Pocus on it? I think they're overhyping this. This is just a way for them to Carvel to market, basically to make a quick buck on a cup. That's all it is.
I think it's very basic.
Set up
It's
from
basic.
the free forum. You know, it's just another campaign to go watch the whole month of Halloween stuff with them starting with Hocus Pocus and ending their series on the Freeform channel with Hocus Pocus. Yeah,
We
Mayhem.
got the witches. We got the witches coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
this is you know this
One of
is
my
that
favorites.
yes. So you guys want to know what a tiger's favorite ice cream shop is?
God, I'm afraid of this one.
Carol Baskin and Robbins. Okay, ask me myself.
Only but the top-notch jokes in this stream.
Ladies
Woohoo!
and gentlemen, Bergy
I'm
keeps
done.
pointing in this direction. Bergy point as well too.
Cool.
The other
Sorry.
way. That
Right
is
there.
mayhem, ladies and gentlemen.
That's mayhem.
That is pure
Be sure to say
mayhem.
they got girl raspberry.
Hey, he's got dad jokes for days.
I'm
Go
honest-
get your ice
Honestly, yeah, but
High
to
class
tie
stuff
on
up
with
here.
But to tie in with his joke, I'm actually surprised like Baskin Robbins or some other
Robbins,
places
yeah.
haven't done something like that.
Correct.
You know, haven't done an ice cream or something to capitalize on Tiger King or something. You know, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't.
Yeah, that's because
Soon.
Carvel's
has
doing
already jumped.
You know what?
ice cream.
As someone
That's
who partakes of anything Halloween, I'm
Right.
disappointed in this shake, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because first of all, it is very basic. I mean, if you're gonna do a Halloween theme thing, you're gonna have like candy corn or grape or a taro, something purple, something black, all the colors. This didn't take that much imagination, and so I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I you know, and I like everything that comes out during this season. I like the pumpkins, and I like all the spices and everything that makes up whatever Halloween is. But I'm not down with this. So I'm
It feels
disappointed.
a bit like after the fact, like, oh no, we gotta do something Halloween. Let's do this. Yeah, and just put it in a cup.
But you could have
Awesome.
done something better. You could have done something like a mint ice cream or even something like a pistachio or something and make
Yeah.
it look like green and
Yeah.
put little worms in it, gummy worms, and put like
I mean,
chocolate on top
what
of it.
would have
You could
been-
have
I
done
agree with
something
him.
so much better.
Yeah.
They
Well, what
have
if
the
it's
ingredients. They have the ingredients to add as much as they want to it, and they just kept the basic ingredients that they have that every normal person gets on a daily basis. So this is just a daily milkshake that you could probably get after the Halloween session, but you're just missing out on the cup. That's basically what they're selling you on. They're selling you on a Hocus Pocus cup.
Yep.
What
But
would've
here
been
is,
cool-
yeah,
what would have been cool is if they had done like a mixed ice cream, since it's based off the film, and had the colors
Like
of
three.
the three witches like swirled together, or a
Yes.
diesel on top, like green, purple, red, you know.
Mhm.
And then you get like a little like cat straw, you know, like a little cat,
Yeah.
you know,
something.
thing that
Or a
the
hat,
children have
a
for
witch
small
hat.
children that will likely buy it.
Yeah.
But
We
as
gotta
we
sell
all
these
know,
ideas, people.
right.
I-
But as we all know, whoever was part of that panel failed at getting into market, and us as the market and the consumers have all just going, we'll just take a cup for $1, please, and thank you very much. But here's something that everyone is excited for, and that is the casting of Ms. Marvel. Marvel cast Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, and it's official. Marvel has found its Ms. Marvel, and it's the form of Iman Vellani. And for the upcoming Disney Plus series, will star Iman in a future role, with the series extending its debut through streaming up until 2021. But she's not going to get her series just yet. She's apparently going to debut in the upcoming Captain Marvel for the 2022 sequel before she gets her role as Ms. Marvel. As we all know, Kamala Khan is introduced in the Ms. Marvel universe in issue 14, and so far Hollywood is up in arms, applauding and welcoming her into the Marvel universe. And we all know apparently Mark Ruffalo has become the new Iron Man, and thanking and introducing and welcoming everyone into the Marvelverse. Are we seeing a shift in power? We'll say Mark seems to be welcoming not only some of the new cast members, but even Iman. But anyway, are you guys excited to see a young, energetic newcomer? Yet again, no movie role, no nothing, fresh into the dip of Marvel chaos. is this young girl? Sam, let's start with you.
I'm really excited about it. I'm so happy that they gave someone like a fresh face instead of trying to take a name and, fit that round peg in the square hole. They went for they had a look for the character that they had to go for, but they really went for it with her, and I'm really excited to see what she's capable of. And I like that Disney oftentimes, when they're bringing in young new characters, they will oftentimes just start scratch, like Daisy Ridley with Star Wars. She was a waitress before Star Wars, so I'm really excited to see what they're doing, and I'm so happy that for the next Marvel movie they have someone hopefully with more charisma than a wooden board to be a part of the film. So I'm excited for it, and I'm really excited for her. I mean, she had her dream come true, so I hope she runs with it.
Leslie, I guess this is the first time we finally get to see a woman that is of minority, and we're getting her from the beginning to right now. How important is a character like this to not just the minority world, but for young girls, especially one, and we got to see her, especially with a lot of personal issues, girls that don't want to wear long sleeve shirts or skirts or things like that. How is this something we've all been looking forward to now as a physical presence?
I think what is interesting here is, I mean, everybody thinks that they went out and they found this new girl, but let's just face it, there are not very many young Pakistani actresses out there that you see on a regular basis. And she is Pakistani and she is Muslim. And
Mhm.
so the thing is that there's not there, you don't see that in the Hollywood world. You don't see it at all. So I am so excited to see this storyline because I am tired of seeing Muslim people as terrorists and arch enemies. I'm elated. I'm elated. I am happy for her because I think now people are going to get to see this girl's world. They're going to see her family life. They're going to see her beliefs, and it's going to be a perspective that is going to change it's going to change so many perspectives about Muslim life and young people that are Muslim. So this is a girl that is not used to wearing, you know, short skirts or whatever. She probably wears hijab. These are things that we need to be introduced to. And I'm so excited to see this change, this
So
racial identity change happening in this world. I cannot tell you. It's far beyond the fact that she's female. It's far beyond anything. It's the fact that somebody that has been denigrated or misinterpreted in American society, you're now seeing a different side of it. And I'm glad to see this narrative.
there you go. So because we've always seen one side of, I guess, Hollywood's ethics, and no one ever explains how a little girl can go through. Now we get to see it not as an adult, but in the eyes of a child. And when you see it in the eyes of a child, I am Muslim. I am from Middle Eastern descent, and the stories that I gone through, maybe now other people can view it as well too. For someone like me, it is finally a blessing in disguise.
Can I
May
address Ben
Yeah,
Hellman? Even though Komail Nanjiani is Pakistani, we have not seen a Pakistani female.
yeah.
And that is the difference here because that's a different way of life. He is male, but now to see a young woman who is raised in that faith, this is going to be a different perspective. So it's different.
To be honest, Kamal has actually been excited and has actually welcomed her with open arms because he is one of those guys as well too. He started on a show opposite what the heck was it on a show on TNT. Then he ended up on Silicon Valley and he became a writer and producer and told his story, which other people don't know, is where he actually married an American white woman and didn't go on with his Pakistani and traditions. So
Mhm.
we get to see a little bit of more of other people's traditions. That's something that's very American, but we don't get to see other people's stuff. Mayhem, what do you are you Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, of course. Like any Marvel advocate, I've been also keeping up with the comics. So I've read the comic, especially in the Ultimates when she came out. I was like, oh, this is dope. And I was kind of confused because I'm like, wait, she's Miss Marvel? But what about Miss Marvel? And I was like, but Miss Marvel changed her name from Miss Marvel to Binary to Captain Marvel. Okay, I see how that goes. And she worshipped Miss Marvel. Um, Representation is the name of the game right here. And Leslie said everything, so I don't need to go over that. Representation is big. I can't wait to see how she like portrays and knocks it out the park. I can't wait to see how they do Captain Marvel all over again and make it even better. Um, if you don't already know, Miss Marvel is already in the Marvel Avengers game. Not Captain Marvel, obviously. So like I'm looking forward to like new characters coming because remember, we still got a black Captain America to deal with. We still got, if they decide to go this route, a gay Hulk to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So like this push is bigger because it represents other people out there that are reading and supporting this genre. So I'm happy, and I also want to see her kick butt too. So there's that.
There we go. Yeah. Mayhem. I mean, Bergy. You're a
Other
big
Mike.
avid reader. Yeah, the other Mike. Well, because I got both of you next to each other today because I wanted you guys, I want you guys like bicker at each other just a little bit more. But anyway, Bergy, you are the avid reader, and you do have, Ms. Marvel one to several of the issues. Are you looking forward to see some of the storylines that they have, like in the certain things, or will we finally see Spider-Man get introduced because he also helps Sir with some of the series, or is that more like later down the line?
I'm actually like a little disappointed that we have to wait so long to see her character. Like I want her now. Like I really want her on the Disney Plus and going. But I get how they have to introduce her, put her into Captain Marvel to do her character. I'd like to know how they're going to introduce how she got her powers. Because I mean, the video game, it's because of Terrigen crystals. You know what I mean? Let's see how they're going to introduce it. I like that they're getting a fresh face. It's a brand new take on the character. We're not getting an actress that's been steeped in Hollywood. She's going to be fresh. I like to see it as a perspective of a child being with superpowers. What's the struggle that she's going to have to deal with her classmates, her school, her family? How does she explain to her friends how she can basically have fantastic, Reed Richards type powers in a way? I think I'd like to see what they do. Are they going to introduce her not with the Spider-Man, but will they do it with, Chaz's America? My God, I'm drawing a blank on some of them, like Squirrel Girl. Those characters that she has, like for her, like her little younger Avengers in a way, and then she becomes part of the main Avengers. I just think there's a lot of stuff they could do with her in her storyline. I'm super excited because she is a pretty cool character, and I've been a fan of hers since I read the first comic with her in it. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this. I think this is fantastic. I just wish we could get it a little sooner. That's all.
Can I just say something real quick? They're gonna put Jersey City on the map too because that's where she's from.
Yeah.
Jersey City,
Finally, this is true.
finally.
But
it's about time they put Jersey City in a.
Where does she fight her crime? Where get the help from? New York.
Yeah, but it's just across the Hudson.
Right.
It's just across the Hudson, but we will see Jersey City. Hello.
I know this is true. It'll be interesting to see how her family dynamics go. How, as you all said, hiding from her family. How does she go to school? I mean, at one point, read the books and everything. She does create her own mutant academy, and we get a young Cyclops and a young Hulk. So maybe that's a different universe we have to go through. But speaking
they could be leading this into something like maybe a Young Avengers with, you've got Wiccan, you've got Hulkling, you've got Iron Patriot, Cassie, there's a lot of things. I would love to see a Young Avengers and go with that because I think that would be something really cool for the younger crowd, the teenagers, to see superheroes and what they have to deal with. And, besides just normal everyday teenage angst, now you add superpowers or something else to it, and your family and the legacy you have to live up to. This is great. This is gonna be a good time.
They did this for X-Men Evolution for Bayville High, a town that doesn't exist. Kind of does exist, but the high school doesn't exist. Anywho, only because that's literally behind my house.
But X-Men Evolution.
Yes, exactly.
Where everybody was a high school student, and Xavier and Magneto were teachers.
And then Storm was a professor, and so was Wolverine. Yep. here's something that we can't seem to understand, but we kind of do, but we're excited for, but we're still questioning about it. And that's Jamie Foxx returning as Electro for the new Spider-Man 3. So
Yes.
over the Sony
Yes.
announced that Jamie Foxx will be returning as Electro, but wait, didn't Jamie Foxx play Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2? And the answer is yes. But what does that mean? In a previous interview by Sony said the Spider-Man has different verses. Spider-Verse. Are you saying that we might get finally a live-action Spider-Verse? Well, signs are pointing to sort of yes, with Jamie Foxx portraying Electro again. Jamie has said that he is not playing the blue version of Electro, but it could be a different verse of Electro, and this may open some sort of Pandora's box to maybe introduce the new Sinister Six, which will open up the Spider-Verse. Science don't know exactly what the storyline is, but all we know is Jamie Foxx is cast, and we all know that there is one photo.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I think we lost Ash.
Oh, we lost Ash.
Ash.
All right, I'm gonna take over as Hash. Sammy,
Sammy, start us off.
I mean,
Start us off.
as we wait for Hash and his technical difficulties,
Can
what
you
are
guys
your
hear me now?
thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Apparently, I had some technical difficulties, and you guys all continued on. Did you start saying who started first with thoughts?
We were
Sammy,
going
start
with
with you. All right, Sammy first. Thank you, guys.
So I'm really excited because this sort of continues to tease about the Spider-Verse happening, because JK was revealed, to be
J. Jonah
I'm blanking.
Jameson at the
Yes,
end
thank
of the last Spider-Man movie.
right. And then now we've got Jamie Foxx, on board again. They already brought in, of course, the whole idea of multiple dimensions, of course, in the MCU with various films, but they also sort of teased it with Mysterio as well. I thought that Jamie Foxx was an unmemorable villain. His design was terrible. So apparently word on the street is that he is not being the exact Electro from the Garfield Spider-Mans, but he is a new version of it. So same character, just different different sort of tempo, for lack of a better way to say it. So I like Jamie Foxx. I did not like his performance in the Garfield one, but I'm really excited to see what he can do in this, in this new universe. And I'm really hoping that his return, is yet another kind of pinhole into the Spider-Verse. So fingers crossed.
Jamie Foxx was in Garfield? Did I miss that?
He was in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Mans.
Oh, the say you said Garfield. I thought Garfield the cartoon, Get the Cat. Okay.
The Garfield movies. Not
That'd be
literally Garfield.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, see, that'd be weird.
I meant the actor.
Okay.
Not the cat.
And
Not the
Andrew
cat.
Garfield, not
actor.
Garfield the cat. Okay.
He had lasagna,
Yeah.
Garfield is dressed as Spider-Man, just like holding on to a lasagna.
I'd watch that.
Jamie Foxx
Look,
is a human.
Sammy,
Whatever
that's
the character,
an
John.
that's an art piece for you to do. Garfield the
Yep.
cat and the spider outfit.
Yeah.
Like, Leslie, your thoughts on Jamie Foxx and the possible Spider-Verse that we've been teased for a while now.
Listen, I love Jamie Foxx. So Jamie could do no wrong for me. I think that it's going to be exciting and everything. What is even more exciting is I love anything that's Spider-Man. Anything. I mean, I am excited about the idea of Garfield, Holland, Maguire, all of them being in the Spider-Verse. I mean, the possibility of it. I just don't know what I would do with myself. I would love it. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what they come up with. I know they've been teasing this for a while, but even if they threw 1967 Spider-Man in, I would love it. So I just love everything Spider-Man. So the fact that he's coming back and he's playing a different type of Electro, okay, yeah, that's a good thing. But I think the most important thing about this is the tease. The tease is that he was in the Garfield Spider-Man versions, and the possibility of him coming into the Holland versions means that something is about to happen. Something is brewing here. So they're keeping us on the edge of our seats, and we are totally buying this right now.
Could you imagine Tobey Maguire as the old rundown?
Yes,
Like,
yes, absolutely.
Well,
he's just so jaded.
Yes, absolutely.
He's like, don't forget to powder at the joints.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Tobey Maguire was supposed to do the voice of the Spider-Verse movie of the Spider-Man in the sweatpants. Tobey Maguire bowed out at the beginning of it. So Tobey Maguire would have introduced their first version of the Spider-Verse, where his character was coming to be, you know, the hero.
Oh.
Yes. So
he
that
bowed out. He bowed out, but why did he bow out? Does anybody know?
Remember the start of the conversation, whereas live action, he wanted to do it for the live action.
He wanted to do it. He wanted to do the live action and not the cartoon.
Yes.
Hey,
but
they probably brought him on board.
Yeah, he was on board for it. He said no, and then the guy, I forget the actor's name and everything. Mayhem, you are a huge Spider-Man fan. You are a bigger Miles Morales fan as well too. But are you looking to the chaos that is happening between Sony and Marvel and Spider-Versing and everything?
I think this is probably the smartest move Sony has made when it comes to movies, particularly Spider-Man, in a long time. Besides getting Tom Holland, who is Spider-Man, I don't care what anybody says. Move over, Toby. Tom Holland is my Spider-Man, and Daniel Craig is my James Bond. Anyway, so this is probably the smartest move they can do. I'm also super excited because we have been waiting for the Sinister Six for how long? Give me Electro. Give me Doctor. Give me October. Just give me them all. Give me the right. Oh my God! And you know what? To be fair, JamieFoxx's Electro wasn't all that great. He could have been better. I felt like they were going for a more realistic, like somebody who gets powers, but he's depressed. He doesn't know how to handle it, and kind of like that's the route they were going, and something happened. But I know, look me in my face. I know JamieFoxx is a great actor. But we know this. All he needs is the right script. And you mean to tell me you can't see JamieFoxx as Electro written properly? Who are you, man? What? So anyway, I'm also hoping they need extras, and they're gonna shoot it in and readily available, as my manager Arash will tell you in the details. Thank you.
I mean, look, if you need a stunt driver, that's the guy to use. But I don't think Spider-Man has unless you're gonna play Black Punisher, I can see Black Punisher. But that's where
I would love that. I would love that.
And then
that's a little bit controversial. I don't think that movie will be made, but I love that.
And then Mayhem could be also not only Punisher, but he's the stunt driver in his car, wheeling through New York City traffic. We're not going through all that anyway. Bergy, I mean, look, we saw, Mayhem has mentioned the script wasn't that great when it came to Electro, and we're still in disbelief, we'll say, for him wanting to play Spawn or him being cast as Spawn. Look, yeah, you say yay, I'm saying nay for the Spawn thing, but is this a version for him to reprise the role? Because don't forget, we could see a different Electro. No, hold up. We could see a different Electro because this is a different verse completely. Are we going to see a much different Electro in this version?
Well, I'm curious just to see how they are going to do this Electro. The Garfield movies, the first one was okay. They did a great job with the storyline of it. The second one, I think the writers kind of fell asleep at the wheel. JamieFoxx is a fantastic actor. I mean, he's won awards. He's done a phenomenal job over his career. I think with the right script, I think he could definitely play Electro perfect. I'm curious, are they going to have him as he is a superpower in a way, like he has the energy, or are they going to do it like Michael Keaton's character where he had the technology to become Vulture? Is he going to have technology to become Electro, like from the Chitauri, from all of this stuff? And, now we're going to see that. We're going to see Scorpion. I'm just curious, like, who are they going to bring in for the Sinister Six? Will we get Rhino? Will we get Doc Ock? I mean, I'm trying to think of, there's another one that's drawing my, Green Goblin. I actually like the kid that played Green Goblin or Harry in the Garfield movies. I thought he did a better job than the other idiot from the
I
first
went to high school
ones.
with that kid.
I thought he did a great job as that, because when he became the Green Goblin at the end and he wore the outfit, I loved him. I thought he was perfect. I was like, dude, this looks psycho. He looks really good. There's so many characters they could bring in for the Sinister Six. I'm curious to see how they're going to do it. And I think JamieFoxx will knock it out of the park, because you got to figure Marvel's going to help with it. So they're writing in their scripts for their movies with him on board. He's going to kill it. He is really going to kill it. And I think he wants to make up for that last movie. He did everything he could. It was just a poor script. Garfield phoned it in. He didn't give a crud about his acting in that movie at all. He had a couple of funny one-liners, some quips, but for the most part, he filmed in that. He phoned it.
Well, if no one, I guess no one remembers it. The reason why Amazing Spider-Man 2 tanked was due to a trailer. The trailer told a much different story than what the movie portrayed. And when everyone watched the movie, there was a giant chunk that everyone knows in the trailer that was not mentioned in the movie, and that's what ruined the movie as well too. And granted, we sort of cringed with Jamie Foxx's character as Electro, but yes, that was the scene where Gwen Stacy took, that fall was direct from the comic, and that was a most pristine visual effect that still, will get us from time to time, because that was a very important scene for the Amazing Spider-Man movie. Mayhem, you were trying to interrupt during the time, but
yes, I was. Yes, I was. Okay, so the Sinister Six is Dr. Octopus, Vulture, Electro, Mysterio, Sandman, and Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter, I hope, gets introduced in Morbius.
Yes.
But see, you know what I'm saying? Even Morbius looks like it's going to be dope. Anyway, I come to you, the church, to remind you of who JamieFoxx is.
What?
Okay?
No.
Come on. Like, JamieFoxx has acting credibility. Acting credibility.
This ain't the JamieFoxx show where he's playing bellhop and everything. We got to go through the old reruns.
I agree with Bergy. Like, Fox is a phenomenal actor, but you can only be phenomenal if you have a phenomenal script and a equally phenomenal director. And Marvel MCU movies has that. That's why it's like, so his previous rendition, was not great, like you guys said before, but with proper management, for lack of a better way to say it, I think it'll be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm excited to see what they do with it.
As long as we don't get Paul Giamatti in a rhino suit, I'm happy.
Yeah. I think
please do not.
Rhino.
Don't want that.
But we could talk about this real quick though. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the Morbius movie, because whatever happens in Morbius will continue on into some sort of Spider-Verse. And granted, Venom is a completely different avenue. Venom will not make any appearance in the Spider-Man movies anytime soon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that little genre.
I'm with Mayhem. I want to see Kraven the Hunter. Like, I've been dying for him. Like, you talk about standalone, like we have a Joker standalone movie. Give me Kraven. Like, I would watch that as a standalone hunt, see all that. And then the last scene, he shows up in New York and he's there to hunt the spider. And then you bring that right into the Spider-Man movie. Dude, you got my money. I'm at the box office opening night. Like, I would love to see that.
But at this rate, they got to introduce Punisher as well too, because Punisher also joins the hunt in getting a spider.
I wonder if
I want to see Morbius and Blade.
Nah, that's one I would definitely love to see.
They're gonna bring him in. He's been more relevant now.
Yeah.
He's been more relevant. Mm-hmm.
All right, still into some New York City news and everything. Sadly enough, a Canadian treasure recently got pummeled in New York City. Canadian treasure Rick Moranis was attacked in New York City. Actor Rick Moranis is still recovering after an unprovoked attack in Upper West Side, New York City. The whole thing was caught on camera. NYPD has confirmed that Moranis was attacked by a stranger on Thursday at 7:30 a.m. near Central Park. Suspect, look, the man is done. Seriously, how do you punch the man who gave you Ghostbusters? How do you punch who gave you Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Look, the suspect is still at large. Celebrities on hand are in complete and total shock. Why anyone would hit a Canadian treasure But sadly enough, us New Yorkers know that if they catch the guy, it's more like a catch and release program, and we're waiting to see what Canada does next if they will add into. But if you know anything about the suspect, just go to 1-800-577-TIPS. We don't know that's not going to happen. It's already been a few days and we still haven't caught a suspect. I mean, what do you guys think of this latest attack on Canadian treasure Rick Moranis after we just got him back to acting?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like, I saw the video, like the footage, and it, like, he just literally was walking by, looked over, and then just punched him and kept walking. Like, oh, like, what? Like, I don't even get it. Like,
Right.
you know, he didn't even mug him or attack him further. It was literally just a punch to the head, and I'm going to keep walking.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
I can't believe it. I mean, it's Rick Moranis. The guy, he does not look like he's a threat. He's a, elderly man in a way. Like, he looks very friendly, upbeat. I can't see somebody punching him. Like, God, man, you are a dirtbag to do that. Like, this man lost his wife and everything like that and everything. I wonder if the guy knew him or knew who he was, or maybe didn't know him. He just wanted to be, a jerk, and then he punched somebody in New York and kept walking. Like, I hope this doesn't put Rick Moranis off on New York and acting, and the dude doesn't go back into hiding, because I need him.
This is a common thing that's been going on in New York, where guys are just coming up and randomly punching people that they feel are vulnerable. And there is also it's also a gang initiation type of thing as well. So the problem is, I don't think he knew that was Rick Moranis. I think that he just, either he is mentally ill, which of course you all know we have plenty of those walking around in New York City, or he just did it as a gang initiation, or he just did it because this is just what's been going on. This is common. This is nothing new. They did this. Guy punched some lady, a 70-year-old lady one day, I think in Brooklyn. So this is not anything uncommon. He doesn't want to mug him, everything. It's the sensation of doing it. And the fact that they do actually have footage of this guy. And I do hope that they do find him. And I hope that Rick is recovering. But he was walking at Central Park and 70th. I don't know what time he was walking there, but Central Park in itself, you have to be very leery of where you are walking in Central Park, because this is a common thing that's been going on. And especially now, with people not being around, you don't see any interactivity. Nobody's really going to watch what you're doing. You got to be aware of what's going on around you in New York.
Right. It was actually at 7:30 a.m. in front of an apartment building, which had the full footage and everything. Guy comes up, whacks him in the head, but the man's only 5'7",
but he was vulnerable.
63 years old with a bag in hand, walking out of a building, and then pop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mayhem. The thing is, somebody that's mentally ill, we can sit up here and try to debate why he would even do that, because we all know that that's Rick Moranis. But this guy looks like he's a typical hood. He probably has never watched Rick Moranis's movies, or he probably even suspected that he hit Rick Moranis.
Right.
Now he does.
Now he does.
You imagine you're that kid now. You're in your home. You're sitting there going, "Oh crud!" Like you're. I hope his own mom turns him in. I really do. I hope his mom or brother or father or somebody turns this guy in. Like, yeah, that was my kid. I'm sorry. Here you go.
Yeah, because the guy, from what they showed, didn't appear to be very old. Like maybe in his 20s, like mid-20s at most.
Well, this is a very common thing. This kind of crime has been happening for a while now.
Mayhem, your thoughts on Rick Moranis taking one for his, I guess, sort of his comeback tour, welcome back sort of thing. I think it's a terrible thing. Right.
My first introduction to Rick Moranis was Little Shop of Horrors. Was it Tashina Arnold, Tisha Campbell, Rick Moranis, and it was just like, I love that movie, and I would never think that this guy is a bad person. He's gone off the radar for a little bit. He was on hiatus. He's been through a lot, and it doesn't seem like a crime of passion. It seems like really a crime of opportunity. Kind of like what Les was saying, like the guy looked vulnerable. It looked like he can do it and get away with it. And he probably didn't recognize who Rick Moranis was. Excuse me, I can't speak now. And maybe he did afterwards. But, sometimes stars dress down. And it's just like, why? Like, why would you do that? We're going through something right now. There's no reason for you to do that. You know, it's not like Rick was out here threatening this guy's life, and it's horrible because forget that he's a star. He's a person. He's me or you. We could literally be walking down the street and this could happen to us, and it's uncalled for.
Right.
So, you know, I hope he's doing good, but, you know, I hope this doesn't deter him from coming back and maybe moving forward with his life, however he wants to do it. I hope nobody else has to go through something like this. I do hope that guy comes forward so that way they can be some justice, if not the full totality of the justice that is needed. I'll say it like that. For this kind of crime, maybe a fine or something like that. But it's stupid, man.
Well, we've been waiting for such a long time for Rick Moranis to come in, especially with the Ghostbusters talks since the reboot, now Afterlife, the video game, and things like that, and we finally get, you know, Mr. Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, and as you said, Little Hopper Shop of Horrors as well. Thank you. Like, and then
Rick Moranis, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. But
he's also filming something for Disney Plus right now. Honey, I Blew Up the Kids in a way, like a reboot. So,
okay.
So yeah, with all these going on, I just hope that Rick Moranis can just like, all right, I took one in the chin, and you know, let's continue on those, you know, great stories and great movies. And you never know, this could be just a little like page on a storybook. So you know what? Thank you, Rick Moranis, for coming back. Sorry, as a New Yorker, but I
felt like he was
hope
gonna come back too. You know. Because that game Grounded came out, and I was just like, this is like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. What's going on? Is he in it? Like, the beta is out. So I don't know if there's talking. I don't know if he's in it, if he does any voice acting, whatever. And I was like, is he coming back? Is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Come on, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, though?
Yes,
come on. We did all see ourselves, like, in that predicament. Like, what would I do? Oh, it was dope. It was dope. All right.
For the next topic going on, spoilers ahead for everyone. We will be talking about The Boys. So if you have not watched the latest episode, and you know, if you haven't watched the last 2 or 3 episodes, spoilers ahead. Turn us off, mute us, whatever it may be. I mean, if you mute us, you just see the subtitles. But anyway, and to parents who are watching as well too, we will be mentioning porn as well too. So full on disclaimer during this little segment, but the rest of you four, you know, best behaviors and all, just the P word, you know, these are adult friendly content we're talking about, please. So huge disclaimers going on. As I said, I'm going to say this one more time. Huge disclaimer. Speaking
quote, so he means that sardonically.
Anyway, apparently the showrunner
disclaimer that was last week, right?
Yes, pretty much. The Boys showrunner wants to release a as I wrote, racy love scene that they actually filmed for season 2. Apparently, the showrunner says there's additional footage that Amazon Prime is afraid to release. But Eric Kripke, who is the showrunner, tweeted on Twitter a photo of someone holding the DVD of one of the DVD titles called Big Black Noir. With season 2 ending next week, could we? I mean, look, if you watch the last 2 episodes, there is a lot of racy material, and some of us have read the books. I mean, look, some of us have read the books and know the material, and we were always wondering, were they actually going to go on with a lot of the racy scenes that were in the book? Now there is word going around that there is more footage. Sammy, could you see a leak happening anytime soon?
Oh, absolutely. And it's mostly images from what Kripke said on his Twitter, not necessarily full blown. Like, there's a couple extra scenes. But then most of what he wants to release are images. And I'm assuming those are like the DVD images, the covers and stuff that they did, which is hilarious. So I like, it's going to get leaked, just like the Deadpool test footage got leaked. And I can't wait for that to happen. I can't. It's going to be hilarious.
Wait. So are you saying this might be an actual YouTube feed, pretty much, for that one?
Well, on Kripke's Twitter, he said that there was a couple extra scenes, and then most what he wanted to post was images, stills that they did for the porn watching scene.
Leslie, I mean, look, would you even attempt to watch any of the extra scenes, or just going, no, this was enough? The books tell a lot more detail than what's going on, but
I do not think that it is actual porn. I think that it's simulated, because that's a whole nother show, and then they cut and edited for what we saw on the last episode. So what I do think is what Sammy said, is that we're going to see stills, and we might have a big star in the place of what might actually be going on there, to imply that was going on. We may see other objects scattered around, but I don't think that it's porn per se.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it is hyped up, because when we do finally get that leak, and it is going to happen, we'll all be wanting to watch it and look at it, and I think it's probably going to be absolutely hilarious.
So you're saying it may be the PG-13 version of what we saw for the Bruno movie, because that was the way it was filmed. It was meant to have a giant box in front. Everyone remember the disclaimer for that one as well too. Mayhem, would you? I mean, would you? Yeah, no, maybe so. Like, do we bother with?
Okay, if it's stills, I'll still look at it. But if it's like a full scene, if there's motion in the ocean, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if there's a little bit of dialogue, I'm in. I mean, I gotta know how it ends or how it begins. I gotta know. Like, I gotta know.
And you gotta know how he does it in the blowhole.
You know, like, I gotta know. There's so much story to this.
Bergy, are you? I mean, if it ends up on those, are you? I mean, look, if it ends up on those sites, are you buying a subscription?
Oh, hell no. I'm not buying a subscription to watch it, but if it's leaked on YouTube or something like that, I mean, we're all people. We're going to watch it.
I'll buy it and share it with you, Berg. I got you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I think it's going to be something, the term is called Skinamax. We're not going to see the actual, act take place, but it'll be like Leslie said, like a star over it. It might be shaded out or something, because they're probably not going to want to do that. I don't think Kripke releases it or it gets leaked anytime soon, because Kripke has a really good thing going right now at Amazon Prime with this show. And if he leaked it himself or something did happen, I think it might affect him with his further, deals with Amazon, maybe Netflix or anybody else that might be come calling for him, because Supernatural's dead. Now he has this, and who knows what else might lead for him. So I don't see it being leaked fully. We might even see it might be a parody in a way, like a comedy style one for, the sex scenes or something. Who knows? I mean, I think it's hilarious. I'm not surprised that they picked on the Deep in the first one when they showed it, because he would be the most obvious one to be hilarious to be with that and see animals. So who knows? I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
All right. I mean, look, it looks like all you guys are waiting for some sort of footage to see. I mean, especially someone's been constantly talking about, I don't know, animals and stuff like that. So who knows what goes on next? But since we're still on the boys and everything, anyone want to jump on what they've seen in the last episodes? Let's start with Mayhem, with some of his favorite scenes so far. Or,
Okay,
back.
I'm gonna totally ignore what you're saying, even though you're the host, and say all I care about is who is blowing up the heads. I need to know, like,
there you go.
Everything else. Look, don't get me wrong. Great. I was mad at Huey for bringing Lamplighter to the whole vault. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You don't have him under control. You're pretty much, I can't say the word that they were using, but the C word that they were using. You're pretty much that. You're pretty much the guy that's weak, whatever. And it's just like, why would you bring Lamplighter there? Because I expected Lamplighter to betray you, but also I didn't expect him to help you out with Starlight, which he didn't do. He, spoiler alert, he kills himself, right, for no apparent reason, but he gets you in the building, and that's it. So now you got to cut off the arm. Hooray, you've grown a pair. Screw all that. You messed up what we had going on, because we're going to use Lamplighter and another guy. Who is blowing up the heads? Because I don't know, like the girl who is able, like she's able to do that thing where she controls gravity or whatever. Like she's hitchhiking, but she wasn't around from before, unless they used her before. So like, who's doing it? Who's blowing up the heads? Great series, great series. I cannot wait till this Friday.
Right. And also to chime in since Mayhem's on the whole, you
Can I
know.
just can I
Yeah,
just
go
say
ahead, Leslie.
something? This is something about Carl Urban as an actor. His expressions are priceless.
Oh God, they had the best thing ever.
When
I
he's
have to
drinking the
tell you,
tea,
yes, when he was drinking the tea in that segment, I laughed. I laughed so sardonically when he did it. I just was like, because it was so, his look was amazing. And incidentally, he said that he was talking at some kind of a convention or something like that. He said that people actually come up to him and ask him to call them the C word.
Mhm.
They ask
do.
him to call it and to curse at them because he does it so perfectly. He does it so perfectly.
well, he is Australian.
Yeah,
They
they use that word a lot.
Word.
They
They
do.
use "see you next Tuesday" like we use the F word.
I know,
Oh, yeah.
and I have to tell you, seeing his dad, the guy that was in Fringe.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was in heaven because I totally loved that show when it was out.
Uh-huh.
And I saw him and I was like, oh, it just Robert gave me so many feels. I just absolutely love this show. And I have to say that Carl Urban is one of my top 10 actors now because of this. His expressions are just wonderful. It's rich.
Yeah,
Right.
he definitely took for lack of a better way to say it, he leveled up with the boys this season.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he was awesome in the first season, but his subtle acting cues, like when he's drinking the tea after the threat and that unblinking eye contact,
Mhm.
or the end of this past episode at
The
the end
squint
after
of
all
the
head.
eye.
Yeah, where like
Yes.
he just stares into the camera, like you feel that in your bones. It
Yeah.
was quite awesome.
That's
But-
right. John Noble, Sean Cox.
Yeah, John
Thank
Noble.
you.
Yeah.
But I think, and I said this before, but I think the telekinetic chick, the bald chick that exploded heads in the thing, I think she's a red herring, to be honest. I
think so too.
I think she's a red herring because, you know, as soon as she got out of that cell, like, one, she attacked anybody that had anything to do with how she was treated. So she attacked, in that room. She didn't blow up Stormfront, who we already knew visited all the patients. And then two, how did they could barely control her out of her cell. So how did they control her in the very beginning of the season to explode CIA lady's head? Because don't forget, that happened in the first episode.
Well,
So,
you know what? That'll be answered for
Next
a
week.
later episode of next week and everything else. Because why? There's one more episode left until
Yeah.
the end of season 2. But sadly enough, we have come to an end. Thank you all for watching. Right before we all go, Sammy, where can we find you?
every Sunday night, you can find me here with all of these awesome people. Wait, that way. My bad. I'm dyslexic. On Wednesday, you can find me live streaming through my own channel, either on Twitch or Facebook under Castillo Studios. My website, castillostudios.ninja, and then my Instagram right there,
There you go.
TS Castillo Studios.
There you go. Leslie, where can we find you?
Of course, you can find me here on Sunday nights with this illustrious crew. And you can see me also on Friday night doing the Tingling Tea, where we talk about all things supernatural and paranormal, driven by Evolution Comics. So I'll be here at 8 o'clock on Friday night. On Saturdays, I will be doing a show at 1 o'clock with the Bit and Apple TV, where we'll be interviewing people from the cons and artists and movies. And also, if you are right now in the holiday spirit, go to Body Shop by Les on Instagram and on Facebook and start buying your holiday products from the Body Shop at home.
There you go. Mayhem, where can we find you?
Probably following Les's Facebook post for more Body Shop by Les. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get some of these products. I'm trying to get this 50%. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to. She already had something. I was there. I was like, "What's up?" She was like, "You're not getting anything." I was like, "Okay, cool." You know.
Never.
It's all love. Definitely find me here every Sunday. talking my mess, bothering my man Berg, obviously about the shirt that he's wearing because he's always trying to make it a blockbuster night. If not, you can always find me at you can find me at Pure Mayhem. Whatever, Pure Mayhem. Last stop on the L on Instagram as well as Geeks Unlimited, or you can find me on Twitch because I'm out here gaming. Q Mayhem Gaming on Twitch. That's it. Oh, that's a nice one. I like that one. Good.
And well, obviously you can catch me here on Sundays with this crew of I don't know, what are we? We're a crew of misfits here. We're definitely misfits. So you catch me here every Sunday here. Tuesday nights with my boy Hash. We're sitting there talking about toys, where to find them, where to get them, everything. It's definitely a good time. You got to check it out. Facebook, Instagram, and you can catch me on BYOG, Be Your Own Geek on Facebook. That's a group I run.
My name is Arash Zandieh. Don't forget to like, love, and share everything you guys go and see. And thank you guys. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week for This Week in Pop Culture. Good night, guys.